California 2020 cold case solved. Arrest destroys beauty empire. The ring light flickered once, casting shadows across $10 million worth of makeup displays, then died completely. In that final moment of illumination, Chloe Winters, beauty YouTube's reigning queen with 23.8 million subscribers, could be seen reaching desperately toward her camera, her signature glossy lips forming words that would never be heard. The live stream cut to black at exactly 11:47 p.m. on March 15, 2020, just as California's first COVID lockdown began. For 48 hours, her devoted fans, the Winter Wonderland, assumed technical difficulties. But when police found Chloe's Beverly Hills mansion empty except for a single lipstick tube placed ceremoniously on her vanity mirror, the beauty world realized their princess had vanished into the same darkness that had swallowed her final broadcast. 5 years later, on September 29, 2025, when FBI agents arrested 62-year-old Victoria Sterling, the legendary founder of Sterling Cosmetics, whose empire had built careers for hundreds of beauty influencers, the handcuffs clicked with the same finality as a compact snapping shut. Sterling wasn't just another beauty mogul. She was the godmother of an industry, the woman whose products had painted millions of faces and whose mentorship had launched 1,000 careers. She was also the architect of the most twisted revenge plot in beauty history, and Chloe Winters had died because she dared to expose the toxic truth behind the glamorous facade. Chloe Winters was everything the beauty industry worshipped in 2020. At 26, she possessed the rare combination of technical makeup artistry, business acumen, and magnetic personality that had transformed her from small-town nobody into global phenomenon. With her cascading blonde waves, porcelain skin, and the kind of infectious enthusiasm that made 14-hour makeup tutorials feel like intimate conversations with a best friend, Chloe had redefined what it meant to be beautiful in the digital age. But Chloe was far more than her perfectly contoured Instagram posts suggested. She held a degree in chemistry from UCLA, had worked as a cosmetic chemist before starting her YouTube channel, and possessed an encyclopedic knowledge of ingredient science that set her apart from other beauty influencers who simply read product descriptions. Her channel, Winter Wonderland Beauty, wasn't just about looking pretty. It was about understanding the science behind cosmetics and making informed choices about what to put on your skin. What made Chloe truly revolutionary was her commitment to transparency in an industry built on secrets and false promises. While other influencers promoted whatever brands paid them the most, Chloe conducted independent laboratory testing of products, exposed harmful ingredients, and regularly called out companies that made false claims about their formulations. Her success was unprecedented in the beauty space. Winter Wonderland Beauty had generated over 2.8 billion views across all platforms. Her product reviews could make or break entire product lines. Major beauty conglomerates competed fiercely for her endorsement, knowing that a single positive review from Chloe could generate millions in sales overnight. But Chloe was more than a business phenomenon. She was genuinely committed to helping people develop healthy relationships with beauty and self-image. She donated significant portions of her earnings to organizations that provided makeup artistry training for underprivileged women, regularly featured creators from diverse backgrounds, and used her platform to promote realistic beauty standards and ingredient education. Her influence extended far beyond makeup tutorials. Chloe had become a voice of authority on cosmetic safety, consumer protection, and ethical business practices in the beauty industry. Major news outlets sought her commentary on beauty trends and controversies. Congressional committees had consulted with her about cosmetic regulation. At 26, Chloe wielded more influence over beauty standards than executives twice her age. On March 15, 2020, Chloe was filming what she had announced would be her most important video yet, a comprehensive exposé of what she called the beauty lie, investigating systematic deception and health dangers hidden throughout the cosmetics industry. She had been working on the investigation for months, collaborating with independent laboratories, consulting with dermatologists, and gathering evidence about practices that she claimed would change how everyone thinks about makeup forever. Chloe's editor and best friend, Sophia Martinez, was supposed to be at the mansion that night to help with the technical aspects of the live stream. But Sophia had called in sick earlier that day, suffering from what would later be identified as early COVID-19 symptoms, a fact that would save her life and provide crucial testimony for investigators years later. Chloe was both excited and terrified about that night's stream, Sophia later told investigators. She kept saying she had evidence that would expose systematic poisoning of consumers by major beauty brands. She'd been receiving threatening messages for weeks from anonymous accounts warning her to stay in her lane and stick to pretty content. The live stream that began at 10:15 p.m. was meant to be Chloe's greatest triumph, a comprehensive presentation of her months-long investigation into cosmetic industry practices. For the first hour and 20 minutes, everything proceeded normally. Chloe presented her findings with characteristic enthusiasm and scientific rigor, showing laboratory results that revealed dangerous heavy metals in popular foundations, carcinogenic compounds in lipsticks, and systematic mislabeling of natural and organic products. But at 11:35 p.m., something changed. Chloe's demeanor shifted from confident to concerned as she began discussing specific companies and their practices. She started naming major beauty brands, showing documents that appeared to prove knowing use of harmful ingredients, and displaying internal communications that suggested deliberate consumer deception. The final 12 minutes of the stream showed Chloe becoming increasingly agitated. She kept looking off camera as if responding to someone or something outside the frame. Her voice became strained, and she began speaking more rapidly, as if trying to convey as much information as possible before being interrupted. At 11:47 p.m., the lights went out. In the final seconds before the stream cut to black, viewers could see Chloe reaching toward her camera, her mouth forming what lip readers later determined were the words, "Sterling did this." Then, darkness and silence. Detective Maria Rodriguez of the Beverly Hills Police Department was called to Chloe's mansion at 2:30 a.m. on March 17th, after 48 hours of failed attempts to contact the missing influencer. Rodriguez specialized in high-profile cases involving celebrities and social media personalities, and she immediately recognized that Chloe's disappearance had implications far beyond a typical missing person case. What Detective Rodriguez found at the mansion was a scene of meticulous staging designed to suggest that Chloe had left voluntarily. Her suitcases were missing, her passport was gone, and there were no signs of struggle. But Rodriguez's trained eye noticed inconsistencies that suggested careful planning rather than spontaneous departure. Most telling was what investigators found in Chloe's makeup room, the elaborate studio where she filmed her content. All of her research materials for the beauty lie investigation were missing, along with the specialized laboratory equipment she used to test cosmetic products. But sitting prominently on her vanity mirror was a single tube of Sterling Cosmetics Eternal Rose lipstick, a product that Chloe had never reviewed and had publicly criticized for containing potentially harmful ingredients. The lipstick tube became the focus of intense scrutiny. Forensic analysis revealed that it contained traces of DNA from multiple individuals, including Chloe herself. More disturbing, chemical analysis showed that the lipstick formula contained compounds that weren't listed in the official ingredient declaration, compounds that could cause severe allergic reactions or worse in sensitive individuals. The investigation expanded rapidly as news of Chloe's disappearance spread through the beauty community and beyond. Her 23.8 million followers mounted massive social media campaigns to find her. Fellow beauty influencers shared theories and evidence. Major news networks picked up the story, recognizing that the disappearance of such an influential figure had implications for the entire cosmetics industry. Victoria Sterling, the founder and CEO of Sterling Cosmetics, was among the first industry leaders to comment publicly on Chloe's disappearance. Sterling's company had been one of the brands that Chloe was investigating, and several of the documents shown during her final live stream appeared to be internal Sterling Cosmetics communications. Chloe Winters represents the absolute best of the beauty community, Sterling said in a carefully crafted statement. Her commitment to education and consumer safety has made our entire industry better. While Sterling Cosmetics disagreed with some of her recent conclusions about our products, we have nothing but respect for her work, and we are deeply concerned about her disappearance. Sterling's response was calculated to position her as a concerned industry peer rather than a potential suspect. But investigators would later discover that Sterling had been monitoring Chloe's investigation for months and had been developing strategies to neutralize the threat she posed to Sterling Cosmetics' reputation and market position. Victoria Sterling wasn't just another beauty entrepreneur. She was the architect of modern cosmetic marketing, the woman who had transformed makeup from simple enhancement tools into lifestyle essentials that promised transformation, confidence, and social acceptance. Founded in 1987, Sterling Cosmetics had grown into a multi-billion-dollar empire that included makeup, skincare, fragrance, and beauty tools sold in over 70 countries. But Sterling's success was built on more than innovative products and clever marketing. As investigators would discover, she had systematically suppressed negative research about cosmetic safety, intimidated critics and competitors, and used her industry influence to prevent regulatory oversight that might have exposed the harmful practices Chloe was investigating. As months passed with no credible leads in Chloe's disappearance, the case began to fade from public attention. The COVID-19 pandemic dominated news cycles, and the beauty industry faced unprecedented challenges as lockdowns reduced demand for cosmetic products. Sterling Cosmetics, like many beauty companies, struggled with supply chain disruptions and changing consumer behavior. But FBI Special Agent Jennifer Walsh never forgot about Chloe Winters. Walsh specialized in cases involving corporate crime and consumer protection, and she had been following Chloe's investigation into cosmetic industry practices with professional interest even before the influencer's disappearance. Walsh's review of the case began in earnest in 2023, when new digital forensics techniques became available that could analyze data recovery from damaged or corrupted devices. She was particularly interested in Chloe's computers and phones, which had been found wiped clean but might contain recoverable information using advanced techniques. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source: cloud storage backups that Chloe had configured to automatically save her research materials to multiple secure servers. The backups had been encrypted and hidden using techniques that weren't discovered during the original investigation, but advances in decryption technology made them accessible to Walsh's team. The recovered files revealed the full scope of Chloe's investigation and exposed a conspiracy that reached far beyond simple consumer deception. Chloe had uncovered evidence of systematic efforts by major beauty companies to suppress research about harmful ingredients, intimidate scientists who studied cosmetic safety, and manipulate regulatory agencies to prevent oversight of the industry. But the most damning evidence involved Sterling Cosmetics specifically. Chloe's files contained internal company documents showing that Victoria Sterling had known for years that many of her products contained ingredients that could cause serious health problems, but had continued selling them while using legal intimidation to silence critics. The files also revealed that Sterling had been systematically targeting beauty influencers who posed threats to her business, using a combination of financial incentives, legal pressure, and when necessary, more direct forms of intimidation. Chloe's research had identified at least 6 other beauty content creators who had suffered mysterious accidents or disappeared after criticizing Sterling Cosmetics products. But perhaps most shocking were the communications between Sterling and criminal associates who specialized in corporate problem-solving. The messages showed that Sterling had contracted with individuals who made problems disappear permanently, and that Chloe's investigation had made her a target for elimination. Armed with this explosive evidence, FBI agents obtained warrants to search Sterling's current properties and business records. What they found there would expose 5 years of lies and reveal a criminal enterprise that had used the beauty industry's focus on image and perfection to hide systematic consumer exploitation and violence. Hidden in Sterling's Malibu estate were detailed files on hundreds of beauty influencers, journalists, and researchers who had criticized cosmetic industry practices. The files contained personal information, financial data, and in many cases, specific plans for neutralizing their influence through various means ranging from bribery to blackmail to physical elimination. But the most incriminating evidence was found in Sterling's private office: video recordings that she had kept as insurance against potential criminal associates. The recordings included footage from March 15, 2020, showing exactly what had happened to Chloe Winters during her final livestream. The video revealed that Sterling had arranged for associates to infiltrate Chloe's mansion during the livestream, using the COVID lockdown as cover for their activities. The footage showed Sterling herself confronting Chloe during the broadcast, demanding that she retract her allegations about Sterling Cosmetics and destroy her research materials. When Chloe refused and threatened to broadcast even more damaging information, the video showed Sterling's associates restraining her while Sterling herself applied the Eternal Rose lipstick to Chloe's lips. Chemical analysis later revealed that the lipstick had been specially formulated with compounds that would cause severe allergic shock in individuals with specific sensitivities. Sensitivities that Sterling had learned about from Chloe's medical records, which she had illegally obtained months earlier. The video ended with Sterling's associates removing Chloe's unconscious body from the mansion while Sterling herself staged the scene to suggest voluntary departure. Additional footage showed the disposal of Chloe's research materials and the systematic elimination of evidence that might have exposed Sterling's involvement. Confronted with her own surveillance recordings and the digital evidence recovered from Chloe's hidden files, Victoria Sterling initially attempted to claim that the videos were fabricated and that she was being framed by business competitors. But as additional evidence mounted, including testimony from criminal associates who had worked with her over the years, her story began to crumble. The confession came during Sterling's 10th interrogation session with Agent Walsh and federal prosecutors. After 5 years of living with her secret while continuing to build her beauty empire on the foundation of Chloe's silenced voice, Victoria Sterling finally revealed what had happened on March 15, 2020. According to Sterling's confession, she had been planning Chloe's elimination for months after learning about the scope of her investigation into cosmetic industry practices. Sterling had used her industry connections to monitor Chloe's research and had realized that the evidence Chloe had gathered could destroy not just Sterling Cosmetics, but the entire beauty industry's business model. Sterling admitted to using the COVID lockdown as the perfect cover for her crime, knowing that social distancing requirements and pandemic chaos would make investigation more difficult. She had arranged for associates to infiltrate Chloe's mansion while she was live streaming, planning to make her death appear to be the result of an allergic reaction to cosmetic products. A tragically ironic end for someone who had devoted her career to cosmetic safety. She was too dangerous to let live, Sterling confessed. Her research would have destroyed everything we built. The beauty industry employs millions of people, generates hundreds of billions in economic activity. I couldn't let one idealistic girl destroy all of that because she didn't understand the complexities of business. The confession revealed that Sterling had disposed of Chloe's body in a way that would ensure it was never found, using connections to criminal organizations that specialized in permanent elimination of evidence. She had spent the following 5 years systematically destroying all traces of Chloe's investigation while using her industry influence to prevent similar research from being conducted by others. But perhaps most disturbing was Sterling's revelation that Chloe wasn't her first victim. She admitted to being involved in the deaths or disappearances of at least 8 other beauty influencers, journalists, and researchers over the past 2 decades who had gotten too close to exposing dangerous practices in the cosmetics industry. The arrest of Victoria Sterling sent shockwaves through the beauty industry that reverberated from Beverly Hills to Paris to Seoul. For 5 years, the beauty community had mourned Chloe Winters as an inspiring educator whose voice had been silenced at the height of her influence. The revelation that she had been murdered by one of the industry's most respected figures, a woman who had built her empire on the very consumer trust that Chloe had tried to protect, shattered the beauty world's faith in its own ethical foundations. Chloe's family, her parents Robert and Susan Winters and her younger sister Emma, finally had answers to the questions that had tormented them for over 5 years. But the truth brought devastating realization about how completely they had been deceived. Victoria Sterling sent us flowers every year on the anniversary of Chloe's disappearance, Susan Winters said through tears at the press conference announcing Sterling's arrest. She spoke at memorial events about carrying on Chloe's legacy of consumer education, all while knowing she had murdered our daughter for trying to protect people from her toxic products. The trial of Victoria Sterling began in January 2025 and lasted 11 months. The prosecution, led by U.S. Attorney David Martinez, presented a methodical case built on video evidence, chemical analysis, digital forensics, and testimony from criminal associates who had worked with Sterling over the years. The defense team attempted to argue that Sterling was being framed by business competitors and that the video recordings had been fabricated. They portrayed her as a successful entrepreneur who had been wrongly accused by people seeking to destroy the cosmetics industry. But the jury wasn't convinced by the defense arguments. The video evidence was overwhelming, and testimony from multiple sources painted a clear picture of systematic criminality that had used the beauty industry's focus on image and perfection to hide serious crimes against consumers and critics. After deliberating for 84 hours over 12 days, the jury returned guilty verdicts on all charges: first-degree murder, conspiracy, racketeering, consumer fraud, and corporate manslaughter. The evidence showed that Sterling had not only killed Chloe but had operated a criminal enterprise that had systematically endangered consumers for decades. Judge Patricia Kim sentenced Victoria Sterling to life in prison without the possibility of parole, plus additional consecutive terms for the other crimes. At 62 years old, Sterling will spend the remainder of her life behind bars for crimes that had remained hidden for 5 years. During the sentencing hearing, dozens of consumers who had been harmed by Sterling Cosmetics products testified about the health problems they had suffered and the company's refusal to acknowledge or address safety concerns. Their testimony revealed the full scope of Sterling's consumer deception and the courage it had taken for them to come forward. Maria Santos, who had suffered severe scarring from a Sterling Cosmetics foundation that contained undisclosed allergens, addressed the court directly. Victoria Sterling didn't just murder Chloe Winters. She murdered the truth about what she was selling to millions of women worldwide. Chloe died trying to protect people like me from toxic products marketed as safe and natural. Her courage exposed not just one corrupt executive, but an entire system that prioritizes profit over people's health. The collapse of Sterling Cosmetics triggered investigations into dozens of other beauty companies and resulted in the largest consumer protection prosecution in cosmetics industry history. Several other beauty executives have been arrested, and the industry has been forced to implement unprecedented safety testing and transparency measures. Chloe Winters' legacy lives on through the Chloe Winters Foundation for Cosmetic Safety, established by her family to support independent research into cosmetic ingredients and advocate for stronger consumer protection regulations in the beauty industry. Chloe believed that beauty should make people feel confident and happy, not sick and deceived, Robert Winters said at the foundation's inaugural ceremony. She died trying to protect consumers from companies that were literally poisoning them for profit. Through this foundation, her fight for cosmetic safety and transparency continues. The beauty industry has undergone massive reforms in response to Chloe's case, including mandatory independent safety testing, complete ingredient disclosure requirements, and strict oversight of health and safety claims in marketing materials. Dr. Jennifer Walsh, a toxicologist who has studied cosmetic safety extensively, explains the broader significance of Chloe's case. The Chloe Winters murder exposed how the lack of regulation in the cosmetics industry had created opportunities for systematic consumer exploitation. When companies can market products with minimal safety testing and no oversight, it becomes profitable to prioritize appearance and marketing over actual safety. Chloe's investigation threatened to expose this system, making her a target for elimination. Contemporary beauty influencers operate under enhanced safety protocols inspired by Chloe's story, including independent product testing, transparent disclosure of all business relationships, and security measures to protect creators who investigate industry practices. As of today, September 30th, 2025, Victoria Sterling remains in federal prison, where she is serving her life sentence. She has shown no remorse for her crimes and continues to maintain that her business practices were standard for the cosmetics industry,